and this is just some ramblings about Neon Genesis Evangelion. But hello, these are some ramblings about Neon Genesis Evangelion. Oh, so I've written about why I'm not Eva's biggest fan in the past. I won't repeat my points. There are links in the description. This is more just a ramble about the lore because I spent way too much time, probably like hours upon hours, studying the lore, trying to think, trying to understand the lore, and I failed. So, so this is gonna be split into three divided to three parts. So we're gonna talk about the parts that work, the parts that kind of work, but then they require some type of like head canon or like extra canon material to get it to, I guess, make sense. And then there's things that definitely do not work unless you adopt some like just kind of this ridiculous head canon. And then I'm gonna just finish with a quick like thematic analysis. There's a lot of claims that Eva is like a Christian story, or it's like all the Christian symbolism. Some say it doesn't mean anything. Some say like the author just put it there just like I don't know, just because it looked cool. And I could do a quick analysis of that. And I'll only be discussing the original series and the end of Evangelion movie, not the rebuild films, because that's just a whole nother can of worms. So, start off with the things I like or the things that kind of make sense within the story. So, the whole concept of the hedgehog's dilemma in the AT field. So basically, the what's going on is that they talk about these in one of the episodes. They talk about what's called the hedgehog's dilemma, where a hedgehog wants to get close to other hedgehogs, but they can't because they're spikes. There's spikes when if they try to get close to another hedgehog, their spikes will because they have these hedgehogs have these little spikes and they get like they can't get close to each other or they're like prick another hedgehog, so they got to stay far away. And then that is tied thematically to the concept of AT field, which is like pretty much like kind of like your boundary, like a personal boundary, like is what makes you you, what gives like individuals their shape. And when that AT field is dissolved, they people just like dissolve into each other, and that's what happens during instrumentality, where like people just dissolve into each other. There's the AT fields break down, and it's that AT field that keeps us separate. So we want to get close to each other, but we were afraid of getting close because of what people might hurt us. And the concept of the AT fields, I think, is very well done thematically. Like it makes a lot of sense. Like obviously it's like just like a sci-fi type concept. It's not real, but it makes complete like thematic sense. It's a great thematic representation of like the deeper themes of the series, and it's a part that actually makes sense. And then another thing that's I think was done well is like the mothers on like the children would be like the LCL. So apparently LCL is like the blood of like Lilith. And then apparently the Evangelions are the souls of the mother of the pilot. And as you see, like the is like being filled with amniotic fluid when they pilot the Eva. They first gotta be filled with like LCL. And then the concept of instrumentality is that like they're going back to like where they came. So like during the instrumentality, they're going back into their mother's room. So that was well done. And then the lore about the first ancestral race. So like basically there was this like godlike alien race. They send what's called seeds of life all throughout the galaxy so that they can spread life because they were going extinct. Uh, Although it's never really explained why, but I don't think that needed to be explained. So only one seed is supposed to go to a planet. One with the seed of life, one with the fruit of life, and one with the fruit of knowledge. However, two can't be in the same, otherwise you would get a godlike being. And then Adam arrived first. He carried the fruit of life, and then Lilith, who carried the fruit of knowledge, also landed on Earth. And then Adam was forced to incapacitate himself with his lance of Longinus because when Lilith crash landed, she destroyed hers. So therefore, Lilith was the mother of pretty much all living things, including humans. And this general lore makes enough sense, even though it's actually not in the actual show. Pretty sure they might talk about Adam and Lilith, but never actually give like deep down. They actually like break this down, but it makes enough sense. And that's about it. Everything else is just pretty convoluted. So we're gonna get into things that can work, but with some assumptions and headcanons. So, what exactly is an impact? So you hear throughout the show, first impact, second impact, they're trying to cause a third impact, impacts. So, what exactly is an impact? I think an impact, if we can define an impact as a catastrophic event caused by either Adam or Lilith, then it works. However, if you try to get more specific than that, then there are issues here. So where things get confusing is that supposedly many people try to define an impact as a fruit of life, Adam, combining with fruit of wisdom, which comes from Lilith. And basically they say that there's like four components where you got Adam, you need his body and his soul, and then Lilith, body and soul, and then you get an impact, which is like kind of like catastrophic event. So with first impact with Lilith crash landing on Earth, where Adam was supposed to reign and have his own progeny, that works well enough. But with the second impact, it doesn't work because apparently it was caused by the second impact was caused by injecting human DNA into Adam's body. So I don't know. That's not the. I don't see the four conditions left because you need Lilith's body and the soul because that's why Lilith's body was just held in terminal dogma at the time. So apparently it was just human. Like, where do you get the Lilith body there? So that's why I'm saying it's complicated. It doesn't really work though. So it's possible that it's not also not clear when Lilith is recovered. So maybe they had Lilith, and maybe like I said, it's confusing. It kind of works, but then it kind of doesn't really work because if all you needed was human plus Adam to get an impact, then when Gendo fused Adam into his hand at the end of the series, that should have caused an impact, but yeah, it didn't. So, and again, there's some things that just not really clearly explained. Like again, like apparently the point of the second impact was done on purpose to reduce Adam to an embryonic size. How exactly that's possible, we don't really know. But I guess I don't know. Not everything needs to be explained. I guess would be the counter argument. So I guess, like I said, you can make it work, but headcanons. So the third impact. So this is even less clear. So there's so many permutations of what happens. So the angels are trying to cause a third impact. The humans are trying to cause a third impact, and then there's human instrumentality, which is a like an impact, but not like one the angels want. So like what is clear is that the third impact is not instrumentality. Human instrumentality is a form of the third impact, but a third impact can happen without human instrumentality, which is like all the souls of like all humanity merging together and forming like kind of like a exalt consciousness, all one being type thing. So again, the angels, the different angels. So I guess like there are like 15 or 16 that are in the series, and it's confusing about like what they're actually trying to do. Are they after Adam or Lilith? There's one episode where Kaji is trying to give the embryonic Adam to Gendo, where we see where an angel attacks because he's trying to reach his progenitor Adam. However, most of them are trying to reach the terminal dogma of nerve, which is where Lilith is at. So what are they trying to do? Are trying to reach Adam or Lilith? And would there be an impact if they reach Adam? Because again, a lot of people say that an impact you need Adam plus Lilith, but with an angel, it's just Adam and his progeny, so there's no Lilith involved. Yet many people act like they seem to act that if they were to reach Adam, then an impact or at least something bad would really happen. So again, that's not really clear. I guess you could say that like, oh, so again, so the lore is that the angels they have the tree of life, which gives them like pretty much like a superhuman. They can never expire, superhuman like life force, unlimited energy, but they're not really smart like humans. Humans were pretty weak, but we have the fruit of knowledge, so we can like build build like science, architecture, and eventually like build a big like organic like type robotic to fight the angels. So I guess that makes sense. So like basically they don't have like a goal; they're just kind of going after things. So I get like I said, it could work, but it's still like really confusing as to why, like what exactly they're trying to do. Um, Again, there are other like weird things as to why they would arrive only 15 years after. I guess you could say that they're trying to like incubate. So it takes like 15 years to incubate, and they didn't go after them because they were like in weird places that would be hard to find. Like I know one is like aquatic, one is like maybe like in the ice caps. They all have different shapes and sizes. And I guess they don't work together because again, like I said, they don't have the fruit of knowledge, so they're not really that smart. Again, they're possible solutions. It's still kind of confusing as to what exactly is going on with the angels and what they're trying to do. Moving on to Eva 1 and Yui Akari. So Yui Hikari, Gendo's wife and Shinji's mom. So supposedly, during a contact experiment with Eva Unit One, when Shinji was 4 years old, her soul got trapped into the Eva Unit One, and her body dissolved to LCL. And again, this is confusing because it's called a contact experiment, but I'm not entirely sure what they were trying to do. What were they trying to do? What did they expect? We know that Yui was very aware that yeah, I'm about to dissolve into LCL and my soul be trapped into this evangelion. But apparently, it was only because she told that to like Fuyutsuki. But apparently, everyone else thought something else would happen. What they wanted to happen is unknown. It's just like nowhere, like unknown, just a contact experiment. And then apparently, Rei was created after that with Yui's DNA. So she has like Yui's body with Lilith's soul. However, they were trying to do like the opposite. They're trying to recover what was left. So they're trying to recover her soul and her body, but somehow they got the opposite. And we'll see when we get to talking about souls that it just this way souls work in Evangelion just like so like it's all over the place. So that somehow led to the creation of Rei. And again, like Yui is just like I don't understand. I guess she said her goal was to kind of prove that humanity that always existed, and like their goal just I don't really like. I mean, many people know that it just doesn't seem to make a lot of sense to prove that humanity has always existed. Yu's just a very mysterious character. Many fans have said that's kind of the point. Obviously, persons in the verse like obviously Gendo, Shinji, and then the Doctor Fuyutsuki that was I think believe was in love with her. They all speak very highly of her, but they're kind of unreliable narrators. So perhaps she's like many fans have speculated, oh, she's secretly evil all the time. Again, no one knows. Apparently, she's a daughter of one of the Steel members. Again, that's interesting, I guess. So nobody knows. Nobody really knows at all what she's about. Like, what is her goal? Is it just to prove humanity has always existed, or was she trying to protect Shinji? Was she trying to protect Seal? Nobody knows, and nobody knows what's going on with her. It's just all over the place. Again, you could come up with something based on what we know, but it's kind of up in the air. Is she good? Is she bad? Was she trying to save Shinji? Like it's all over the place with Yui. And then Eva Unit 1. So apparently all the other Evangelions are clones of Adam. Eva Unit 1, it was made from Lilith, and that's why we see that like apparently with the when we see Lilith in Terminal Dogma, that's why they're doesn't have half their body because it's been used to make Unit 1. It has Yuit's soul, and then when Shinji fought an Eva and then went berserk and it ate the S2 organ of one of the Evas, it had both the fruit of life and fruit of knowledge. And it is said that Eva Unit 1 now has the power of a god. My confusion is then why didn't that cause an impact? Because again, if you need Tree of Life plus Tree of Knowledge to get an impact, why didn't it cause it when it ate the S2 organ? I guess you could say just like it has to be like personal intent. I guess, which like works fine enough, I suppose. But again, like I said though, how exactly the second impact works with the fruit of life and the fruit of knowledge is mysterious. I guess you could say that impacts only work if you want to cause one, I guess. Moving on to part 3, things that just don't work really under any circumstances unless like the head canon you have to do is just so insane to make this work. So most fans acknowledge this is just a plot hole. The whole Adam and Terminal Dogma. So Kaji brings Adam's embryo to Gendo. So then later he says why he's that the crucified being in Terminal Dogma is Adam, even though he previously brought it over to Gendo. So he should know that like Adam's like an embryo. I guess the only possible way was just like he just got confused or like he thought Adam would grow or something like that. But that wouldn't make any sense because Kaiji's been working as like a triple agent. So he would know like he probably would know some secrets that Lilith has been held in Terminal Dogma for many years. So there's no reason for him, when he gave it over to Gendo as an embryo, for him to be confused that actually Adam's like being crucified at like Terminal Dogma, even though he gave it to Gendo. It's just a plot hole. It's just a plot hole. And I think most fans will agree, yeah, that just doesn't make sense. Oh boy, Kawaru is just another thing that's just wow. Kawaru, so he was supposedly born when Adam's soul separated from his body from the body during the second impact and placed in human vessel. How this occurred, how the soul just got separated, they captured the soul, they put it into a human, don't know. Complete mystery. Complete mystery. So moving on to his relationship with Seele or Seal and Kawaru. This whole thing just complete mess, complete mess, complete mess. So there's a plot point where Kawaru goes to the terminal dogma thinking to find Adam, because again, he's the soul of Adam trying to find his body, but instead he realizes it's Lilith. And this is confusing because in the director's cut, Seal tells him that Gendo has Adam in his hand. So then why is Seal knows for sure that what's in terminal dogma is Lilith. So why are they lying to him? Many have said that the goal was to start instrumentality, but okay, I'm confused because I thought Lilith, her soul was in Ray, so I guess maybe she had part of her soul. That's what when we get to, oh my gosh, the soul is just mind inducing. Just oh wow. But isn't that our like another thing is isn't that already of the goal of Adam and the angels to cause the third impact to cause a third impact and then have it on I guess Seele want their version of third impact that involves instrumentality. But isn't Kawaru like fully working with Seal? Is it only in the end when he wants Shinji to kill him that he starts to question what Seal is? So then why lie to him at that time? If they want him to go to Terminal Dogma to get Lilith and cause the impact, why lie and say he's getting Adam instead? Someone said, "Oh, what they really wanted, they wanted to go attack Terminal Dogma and then get himself killed by Shinji, I guess." But that's just that plan is so convoluted and like there's so many ways that they could just go off that it's kind of ridiculous. That's like that plan is just way too convoluted. It just makes absolutely no sense. I think many fans just said, "Yeah, this just doesn't really make any sense." Like I don't know why they would tell him to go with Adam, go find Adam. Like what? Like yeah, fans just agree that this is probably just something that doesn't make any sense either. But that leads to my next point, which is probably my biggest complaint. One of my biggest complaint is the concept of souls in Evangelion. So apparently, there's this thing called a Chamber of Guff that is based on Jewish mysticism, which we'll talk about in the more thematic analysis. It is basically where souls would go post instrumentality. So where they go post instrumentality, and it's where like preborn souls are. So like when a person is born, like the Chamber of Guff opens and they get a soul. And it's also another interesting thing is where it said that Lilith's chamber is empty. So then there's still children being born. So they're born with souls. Like are they like reincarnated afterwards? Like it's never really explained. So you see the chambers of Goth. So again, many people Eva. It said that Eva pilots have to be born post second impact, but it's never clearly explained why. Um, I guess it's had to do with the chamber of Guff being open, but then if the chamber of Guff is empty, rather, that means that there'll be no souls. But it's pretty clear that post second impact, they have souls. And again, like I said, it seems that at least Nerve and Seal they know how souls work pretty well, considering that they can be captured, split, and put into other places. And how this works is never explained whatsoever. Like for example, Suka's mom had part of her soul put into the one I guess it was only the part that cared for Asuka, put into Evangelion Unit 2. So and then Toji's mom, because again he was an Eva selected to be an Eva pilot as well. So that means supposedly his mother's soul is in the Evangelion unit. So that means that there has to be like a known mechanism for like capturing souls and then placing them in like other places. And what's even more insane is that there are apparently everyone at Shinji School is like a pilot, is like a candidate to be an Eva pilot. But in order to pilot an Eva, you need your mother's soul in an Evangelion. So that means that it has some type of mechanism that's completely unknown for being able to capture souls, store them, and then put them into Evangelions at will. It's just the implications of this are crazy, and none of it is even explored. So can they do this for everyone? Does this have to do with why pilots are born post second impact? So why can't again these pilots are kids because I guess supposedly they have to be born post second impact. But again, if all you need is your mother's soul in the Evangelion, why can't they do that with people born post second impact? Why exactly do they need to be children? I don't really know the answer to that. So if an Eva pilot dies, can they take out their soul? Again, that happens to Adam with the second impact. They capture the soul. And that also happens with Rey. When Rey dies near the end of the series, her soul is captured and put into another Rey clone. So like a third Rey clone. So Rey died twice. So when Ritsuko's mother's killed her, first killed her, they got her soul again, put her into another red clone, and then when she died, they got into another. They took out her soul again, put it into another clone. So, and then again, they took out the souls of their mother. So why can't they do that with Eva pilots? So can SEAL members die? 'Cause a lot of SEAL members, we see them. A lot of them look. Well, we don't really see them, but a lot. One of them, I think the leader has like cybernetic body parts, so he looks like really old. So I guess like they're like really old and dying. They want to start instrumentality before they die, so they want to see it. But again, if you have the power to just take out souls and just, it seems to me that they know how to do it really well. I think you can just keep replicating it. So they take out souls, put in another body. Wait, why don't they just do that to extend their lifespan? Why do you even need instrumentality at all at that point if you just want to become a god? Again, like the way souls work deserves far more focus, and it's it's so confusing. I studied this for hours, and I'm just like even more confused than I was at the beginning. Gendo versus Seal and their version of instrumentality is another thing that just does not make sense. It's just wow. So the overview, what human instrumentality is, that's well explained. However, what needs to be done to achieve human instrumentality is not explained pretty much whatsoever. And then Gendo and Seal, they both wanted human instrumentality. How they want it is anyone's guess. Nobody knows how exactly to cause human instrumentality. It's just there's so many different versions of it. So to start off with Seal, they're pretty much like a religious cult. They want human instrumentality. They guess their goal is to like become godlike. They found like the Dead Sea Scrolls, which are based off the real life Dead Sea Scrolls, which are found in the like I believe the 1940s, which were like had like Old Testament and then, like Jewish literature from like pretty much even like BC before the birth of Christ. And apparently they're just like 12th century members, but pretty much all of them are mysterious. Barely see their faces. So Gendo, the man, Shinji's father, arguably the worst anime dad of all time. So it's very clear that all he cares about is Yui. The rest of humanity be damned. All he cares about is just reunite with Yui. So again, so he wants human instrumentality just so he can reunite with Yui. It's just very clear considering how he treats Shinji and pretty much every other person. He does not care about anything else except Yui for some reason that are completely unknown. The problem with this is that this should not be a conflict based on what we know about how human instrumentality works. So what is said is that human instrumentality is pretty much merges all human souls together to become like a new type of like being, like all human souls. So basically, if you have a weakness here, it's complemented by a strength of another. All your problems are understood well. It makes some people pretty much close together. Pretty much, you don't exist individually. You exist as kind of like a godlike being. Like if you study philosophy, it's kind of like something called a Gestalt consciousness type thing. So Seele wants human instrumentality to become gods. Gendo wants human instrumentality to be with Yui again. But given that human instrumentality is a merging of souls of humanity, shouldn't Gendo be happy with any version of instrumentality that obtains? So basically, why are they at odds with each other? Gendo wants to see Yui. If instrumentality happens, he gets to see Yui. Why is he fighting Seal? This does not make sense. The only possible response is to say that, oh, souls and Evas don't participate. But that's clearly false because Shinji activates it. And then even then, it seems that there are conditions and different types of human instrumentality. So I don't see why Gendo can't ask Seal, oh, if for whatever reason my wife won't be a part of it, can you just add her to the glob of Fanta at the end? There's no reason why they should be at odds. Based on everything we know, they should be on the same page. And again, it is like I said, what is well explained is that the third impact is not human instrumentality necessarily. That makes sense. So they could have a third impact, but not human instrumentality. And then there are different versions of human instrumentality, like there are different versions of third impact. So in the end of Evangelion, it appears that the third impact, human instrumentality, is caused by Shinji. So it's like kind of like I guess supposedly a mix of what Seele and what Gendo wants. But what doesn't make sense is how human instrumentality is activated, because apparently the Seele version you need the Spear of Longinus. So that's why when Rey uses the spear to fight off one of the angels. They're so mad because they needed it for one of their versions to work. But apparently Gendo doesn't, because he tries to activate it at the end when he has tries to fuse Adam the embryo into his hands and try to touch Rey with it. And again, this is never explained why they need it for instrumentality, but Gendo doesn't. So Rey rejects Gendo's version and gives it to Shinji at the end. The only possible solution that I thought of was that, the reason they need the ceiling wanted the lance was to subdue Lilith. So because the lances they can subdue Adam or Lilith, so they can subdue that Lilith to get the version of instrumentality they want. But Gendo managed to groom Rey so that she does what he wants. Gendo just grooms Rey so that he does whatever he wants. And then at the end, Rey rejects her because Shinji was the only one that was kind to her. However, that seems to contradict the purpose of the spears in the first place. So remember, the Far, they put the spears in so to deactivate it. So, but human instrumentality is caused by the activation of the seed of Adam and Lilith. So why would the spear be? Why do they need the spear to be used in instrumentality if its main purpose is to like prevent the power of like Adam or Lilith? That would, like I said, it's so complicated. It just doesn't make any sense. Again, apparently it said that the spear is like it's conscious, like it has its own thing. Again, it doesn't make any sense. You could try, but again, the head kid is so extravagant that it's all over the place. It's all over the place. So the mass production units. So again, they're clones of atoms. They're controlled. They have like a dummy plug and an S2 organ that they like Sealy was working on. And apparently, according to like a video game, the goal of Sealy was like to house themselves in one of these like apparently there are 12 of them that they wanted, but only 9. So apparently there was supposed to be one for each member to house them, and there'll be gods to rule over, like spread out throughout the universe. A dummy plug system, which is basically the evangelion, they need pilots to work, so I guess the dummy plug system is supposed to like, I don't know, fake that somehow, not explained again. And I'm confused as to how they can produce an anti-AT field. I thought only Adam or Lilith can do that. So apparently like they make an anti-AT field in that ritual thing at the Tree of Life at the end. But I thought only like I know that angels have very powerful physical AT fields, but apparently they can make an anti-AT field, which is like basically what lowers the AT field to humans. It can cause instrumentality. So I was again that MPE thing at the end, just what? It's just so like what they what? And we'll get to it. We'll get to it. Look, there's absolutely no way you can explain what the heck is going on with this just by watching the show. It is impossible. It is impossible to explain what the heck is going on other than it looks cool and it's trippy. So this Sephirotic Jewish mysticism tree of life here. This ritual Kabbalistic tree of life. So again, like I said before, the spear goes from the moon, probably faster than light speed to Unit 1. This is like more of a Sealy version of instrumentality, I guess. Why this is needed? Who in the world knows? Like I said, the Tree of Life is associated with mysticism. We'll talk about that soon. That makes absolutely no sense. Nobody has any idea why they need that. Did Gendo need that for his instrumentality? Doesn't look like it. Who knows? Complete mystery. So, I know this is this ramble. My criticism is not that the show is fantastical or that it has deep themes and a good other shows like Full Metal Brotherhood and Attack on Titan. Father's plan is super fantastical. He's trying to like absorb the sun to get the power of a god and like rule over all the world. But I know it seems super fantastical, but if you actually watch Brotherhood, it actually makes sense how he does. Like his plan actually makes sense within the rules of the series. It makes sense because we saw him do it before with Xerxes and the reverse and the transmutation circle, the countrywide transmutation circle. It makes sense. Same things with Attack on Titan and the Titan lore. And again, Attack on Titan doesn't explain things like Evangelion. I'm not saying everything has to be explained. Like again, like what happened to the first ancestral race? Why like I said, that's a good. Like, you don't need to know that. You don't need to know why Lilith crash landed with Adam. You don't need to know that. But my complaint is that the like character motivations and what they want, the basic plot, like the end of Evangelion movie is pretty much Gendo versus Seal. We do not know why it's happening. Why is like like it matters because at least the major character deaths. Asuka and Masato died during the raid. Why does it matter? It does not matter. They both want it. Gendo gets to reunite with Yui in instrumentality. Contrast that with Attack on Titan. The origin of the Titan, it doesn't explain it before like Ymir falls and gets like Titan powers. You don't need it works. Attack on Titan lore works because it doesn't need to explain it. What matters is what how King Fritz uses her afterwards, and the rise of the Eldian and the 9 Titan powers. It's fantastic. Attack on Titan is very fantastical with the lore, but it still has deep themes. It still has deep themes. A lot of people say that Evangelion is like, you gotta feel what Shinji's going through, his depression. And look, I get it. I get the themes. I get like Asuka and her mother, the trauma that I get it. I get it. But but he said, "Oh, stop! You're not supposed to care about the plot. You're supposed to care about how Shinji's feeling." And it's like, well, okay, but there's shows that do both. There's shows that have like crazy, fantastical lore that actually makes sense when you watch it, and have deep themes like Attack on Titan, cycles of hatred, the nature of freedom, what is revenge, war, like don't say, oh, you don't have to sacrifice one or the other. You can do both. You can have lore that makes sense, and you can have child deep themes as well. Again, I'm crashing out. I'm crashing out. Crash out. Anyway, conclusion. So many people know that Hideaki Anno, the person who was behind Evangelion, was dealing with depression when writing this series, and it shows. Look, I think that it's very artistic. Evangelion, like it's very obvious. Put his heart and soul into it, and expected you to feel what he was feeling when he was writing it, and it shows. However, for reasons I rambled on painstakingly, it's not really for me. I'm frustrated because I thought it was something that it wasn't. I'm very interested in philosophy and how can you integrate that with storytelling. And I thought that Evangelion would be like the perfect series for me. It just wasn't. Um, yeah, it just wasn't. I feel like, I don't know, I guess kind of crossed like a blue blood, kind of is like the best word. I thought I was getting something that I wasn't. I thought the lore at the beginning would like talk about, oh, the second impact was 15 years ago, and like the angels. I thought it would lead to something. It didn't really lead to anything really. Didn't really matter at the end. However, I did see that the manga makes some changes, and I feel like the changes would be more my speed. So I guess like the manga is probably a lot closer to what I want. It leaves me frustrated because I do think there's a version of Eva that's like really does sing to me. That I think is just phenomenal, phenomenal, like well crafted, well plot themes, into all integrated well characters, but definitely not the one we got. The manga was closer to that, and that's it. Just now, I'm just gonna talk about the themes and like the Christian symbolism and what's the real deeper like metaphysics of Evangelion for a little bit. So the deeper metaphysical roots. So many people have said that know that Eva uses a lot of Christian iconography. See like crucified Lilith. Some angels when they die they make crosses. However, when you really examine it, it's like very surface level. Like why the angels, why do they come crosses when they die? I don't know. It's just because it looked cool, and that's why a lot. Ano said that itself in interviews that I just thought it was cool and mysterious, give it a cool feel. So I would say that on the surface, Eva does have a lot of Christian symbolism, but if you look deeper, like the deeper metaphysics of it, like what it says about the nature of reality, what you find is a lot of Jewish mysticism, right? So again, like I said, the surface level is Christian. It actually translates to a gospel of a new century, which I think that's a really cool name, but I digress. But it's a chamber of golf. The idea of a chamber of golf where souls that's not Orthodox Christianity. Souls do not pre-exist bodies in Orthodox Christianity. There are different views on souls, but that's neither here nor there. But it is true they don't pre-exist. They don't come from some chamber. They don't pre-exist conception. So you see the Sephirotic tree of life. Again, this is deep. There's a link in the description about like more. You can study more about how the Jewish mysticism tree of life. But that's not. that's not Kabbalah. Kabbalah and Judaism mysticism is not orthodox. It's not orthodox Christianity. It's more like paganistic. Like with the 10, like they have an inverse tree of life, like the 10. Anyway, it's the 10 levels. You can study it in the description, but it's not orthodox Christianity. And this is like the metaphysics of it. This is the meta, and this metaphysics is true, right? Again, it is fair to say that seal is meant to seen as the enemies, and that human instrumentality is seen as a wrong decision. Many people say that instrumentality is seen as like a metaphor for suicide, really, where you just got to end all your problems, right? And I think this is true, right? The show is definitely saying that human instrumentality is bad, right? At least, well, the end of Evangelion is not the TV ending. At least EOE is saying that. So yeah, the show is saying that human instrumentality is wrong. However, all of the other beliefs by Seal, which is kind of like this cult, all of their other metaphysical beliefs are completely accurate. Adam, Lilith as progenitor, well, Lilith as progenitor of the human race, the nature of souls, how they come to be, the tree of life. See, they got their wish at the end. The only thing they got their wish of human instrumentality. The only thing is what this show is trying to say that the human instrumentality isn't ultimately what's best, but they are like at least logically correct about the nature of like life and like how the deep metaphysics of like a being, right? They're right about all that, and the show is saying, yeah, they're right. The Chambers of Guff, Lilith, Tree of Life is Kabbalah style. All of that's real. Dead Sea Scrolls. It was interesting that the concept of Dead Sea Scrolls. Many said that what they say what we have is like the Old Testament and like other intertestamental literature. It's just real like alien sci-fi stuff. You know, it's just a butchered version of this deeper metaphysics. Again, it's like pagan. It's pagan. The Perhaps the moral message would be stronger if their metaphysics was inaccurate. So a lot of people defend like the vagueness of Eva is trying to be like, oh, they're messing with forces we don't understand. That's trying to like you're not supposed to understand it. But I mean, it seems like they understand it pretty well, considering they're able to do a lot of complex things. They know the Dead Sea Scrolls. They're able to predict when the angels will arrive. They're able to predict when the angels will arrive 15 years after the second impact. In fact, it's implied that they caused the second impact, so they were to achieve human instrumentality. So they know all these deep metaphysics. Seal is right. Seal and Get they're right about all of it. The only thing they're wrong about is that human instrumentality, like they think of becoming gods, but there's really like metaphor for suicide, losing individuality, all that. But they're right. They're right about human issue. They're right about human instrumentality, what it is. All this deep metaphor, they're completely right about it. Pretty much all of it, really. But it's not all bad. It's not all bad. So what I not a lot of people made this connections, but what I've discovered is that human instrumentality has a lot in concept to like Eastern religions and like concepts like nirvana or what or like enlightenment, emptying yourself of all desires. It's a lot like human instrumentality because a lot of things in like those Eastern religions they talk about it's about like emptying the self. The self is bad. Individuality is bad. The one is all. Distinctions are bad. Everything is one. You know, the Brahmin, all like pantheism, Brahmin, like one is like all is God, really. Lack of distinctions. However, what's interesting is that Shinji's rejecting instrumentality seems to be a rejection of those philosophies. That individuality is bad, that we should all be just merged together. There are no distinctions. Which again, side note, that's like logically contradictory. That like that everything that there are no desires, that we should get rid of all our desires. Because if we're supposed to get rid of all our desires, isn't the desire to not have desire? Hopefully that makes sense. The desire to not have desires is itself a desire. So it can't possibly be true that it's best for us to not have any desires because it's logically contradictory because that itself is a desire. Eastern religions don't make a lot of sense when critically analyzed. So Shinji's choice at the end is a Christian-like idea that we should accept our individuality even though it comes with hardships because it allows the most beautiful thing, love, and love, biblically speaking, love is the greatest thing possible. Even though yes, in life we will come across hardship is inevitable in this world, but we should power through it because it allows us to love and connect with other people. So, and again, in that figure, Shinji can be Christ-like in that respect. But yeah, I mean, Shinji can be Christ-like in that respect, so I guess it's not all bad though. That's at least a positive point that I'll spin. that's with the deeper lore. But that's all I have. Like I said, this is just like a ramble. Again, like I just spent like 20, literally